the sentencing of Nazi war leaders at Nuremberg, the process and challenges. The footage you are about to witness is real, unedited, and one of the most significant visual records of justice being served in the aftermath of World War II. These images capture the somber yet historic moment when the Nazi leaders, architects of one of history's darkest chapters, faced judgment at the Nuremberg Trials. This unprecedented legal process was more than a trial. It was a reckoning that laid the foundation for modern international law. The Nuremberg Trials, a historic undertaking. In the aftermath of World War II, the Allied powers were confronted with a monumental task: how to bring justice to those responsible for the atrocities of the Holocaust, the war crimes committed in occupied territories, and the aggression that plunged the world into conflict. The solution was the creation of the International Military Tribunal, IMT, headquartered in Nuremberg, Germany, a city symbolic for its ties to the Nazi regime. The Nuremberg Trials marked the first time in history that an international tribunal prosecuted war crimes and crimes against humanity. Representatives from the United States, the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, and France worked together to design a legal framework capable of addressing the unprecedented scale of Nazi crimes. The process set a critical precedent, holding individuals, not just states, accountable for violations of international law. The charges and the defendants. The IMT brought 4 major charges against 24 leading members of the Nazi regime: crimes against peace, planning, initiating, and waging wars of aggression in violation of international treaties. War crimes, violations of the laws and customs of war, including the treatment of prisoners of war and civilians. Crimes against humanity, atrocities committed against civilian populations, including genocide, enslavement, and mass deportations. Conspiracy to commit the above crimes, the coordinated effort to execute these plans at the highest levels of government and military leadership. The defendants included prominent figures like Hermann Göring, Adolf Eichmann, Joachim von Ribbentrop, Rudolf Hess, and Albert Speer. Each played a pivotal role in the Nazi regime's crimes, and their trial offered the world a detailed insight into how the machinery of genocide and war operated. The trial process, a legal and logistical challenge. The trials began on November 20th, 1945, and concluded nearly a year later, on October 1st, 1946. The process faced immense legal, logistical, and ethical challenges. Legal challenges. The trial was groundbreaking because it established legal definitions for crimes against humanity and aggressive war. The prosecution team had to prove not only that these crimes occurred, but that the defendants were individually responsible. This required mountains of evidence, including captured Nazi documents, eyewitness testimonies, and shocking footage of concentration camps. Logistical challenges. Coordinating a trial of this scale in post-war Germany was an enormous undertaking. Nuremberg's infrastructure had been heavily damaged by Allied bombing. Temporary facilities were constructed to house courtrooms, documentation offices, and secure holding cells for the defendants. Translators were essential, as the trial was conducted in English, Russian, German, and French, requiring real-time interpretation for every statement. Ethical challenges. The trial was not without controversy. Critics argued that the victors of the war were imposing victors' justice, and some questioned the legitimacy of prosecuting individuals for actions that were not explicitly illegal under international law at the time they were committed. To counter this, the IMT emphasized the unprecedented nature of the crimes and the moral imperative to establish accountability. The sentencing, justice delivered. The sentencing phase of the trial was perhaps the most emotionally charged. After nearly a year of testimony, cross-examination, and deliberation, the IMT handed down its verdicts on October 1st, 1946. Death sentences, 12 of the defendants, including Göring, Ribbentrop, and Hans Frank, were sentenced to death by hanging for their roles in planning and executing the Nazi regime's atrocities. Life imprisonment. 3 defendants, including Rudolf Hess, received life sentences. Varying prison terms. 4 others received prison sentences ranging from 10 to 20 years. Acquittals. 3 were acquitted. A decision that sparked public outrage, but demonstrated the tribunal's commitment to impartial justice. The challenges of sentencing. The sentences were not carried out without complications. Göring, the most high-profile defendant, committed suicide with cyanide just hours before his scheduled execution. The executions themselves, conducted on October 16, 1946, were marred by technical issues, further highlighting the grim reality of delivering justice for such monumental crimes. The tribunal also faced criticism from various quarters. Some argued the death sentences were too lenient, given the scale of the crimes, while others felt that holding a trial at all risked legitimizing the actions of the Nazi regime by treating its leaders as ordinary criminals rather than moral monsters. The legacy of Nuremberg. The Nuremberg Trials were not just about punishing the guilty, they were about setting a precedent for the future. The principles established at Nuremberg became the cornerstone of international law, leading to the development of the Geneva Conventions, the establishment of the International Criminal Court, ICC, and the prosecution of war crimes in conflicts ranging from Rwanda to the former Yugoslavia. The footage you are about to witness captures the gravity of this historic moment. These images are more than just a record. They are a testament to humanity's commitment to justice in the face of unimaginable evil. The sentencing of Nazi war leaders at Nuremberg was not the end of the story, but the beginning of a global effort to ensure that such atrocities are never repeated.
As the court may direct. Walter Dürrfeld.
Dürrfeld.
Heinrich Gatineau.
Gatineau.
Erich von der Heide.
Von der Heide.
Hans Kugler.
Kugler.
May this honorable tribunal please all defendants except Max Bruggemann, Karl Wurster, and Karl Lautenschläger are present and in the dock.
On the basis of the showings, now call the defendants now in the dock, one by one for arraignment. Karl?
Yes.
Herr Präsident, ich bitte, bevor diese Frage gestellt wird, um die Erlaubnis, im Namen aller Verteidiger und aller Angeklagten eine kurze, grundsätzliche Erklärung zu dieser Frage abzugeben. Hohes Gericht, mein Name ist Böttcher, Dr. Konrad Böttcher, Rechtsanwalt und Verteidiger des Angeklagten Professor Dr. Krau. Ich spreche zugleich im Namen aller anwesenden Verteidiger. Es ist jetzt der Zeitpunkt gekommen, 2 grundsätzliche Einwendungen gegen das Verfahren vorzubringen. Ich behandle folgende 2 Punkte. Ich erhebe Einspruch gegen die Anklageschrift, da sie der in Ordonnanz Nummer 7 vorgeschriebenen Form nicht entspricht. Nach der Ordonnanz Nummer 7, Artikel 4, muss die Anklage in hinreichendem Maße bestimmt und mit genügend Einzelheiten feststellen, um den Angeklagten über die ihm zur Last gelegten Vorwürfe zu unterrichten. Schluss des Zitats. Diese Anforderung an das Indictment ist hier nicht genügt, und zwar weder für den Tatbestand der Conspiracy, noch für die Teilnahmeformen Kontrollratsgesetzes Nummer 10 in den 3 ersten Anklagepunkten, die vom Grundsatz der individuellen Schuld beherrscht werden. Obwohl im Verfahren vor dem Internationalen Militärtribunal die Conspiracy als eine besondere Teilnahmeform des angelsächsischen Rechtes die Grundlage der Anklage bildete,